we can get into our next spot. Sorry about that. But what do you guys think about Gunther's celebration for breaking the reign of Honky Tonk Man? Basically, it looks like Chad Gable's still getting that opportunity to go after Gunther. But what do you guys think about that? The whole 6-man tag with Tomaso Ciampa teaming up with Alpha Academy and going up against Imperium.
Is Ciampa just gonna turn on Gable? Because I really hope that's not the way it's going. Because I did read somewhere that, well, I don't know if it was accurate or not, but that Johnny Gargano came back at a live event recently. I don't know if that.
And I was just about
back.
Yeah, and Lewis, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's the exact thing I was thinking of. At this point, every time I see Tommaso Ciampa, if I don't see Gargano next to him, I really don't give a fuck anymore. Because he's been no, I'm seriously because I mean Tommaso Ciampa at one point was probably one of the best NXT champions that there was at a given time.
Let's say this. One of the best heels ever.
Especially in that feud with Johnny Gargano.
Give him that.
To get people to chant "fuck you" while you're coming out as your entrance, that's a lot of heat. So he really was a great heel. So at the point, he's in limbo right now, and I'm just like, where the fuck is Johnny Gargano to get him out of limbo so we can be a tag team again?
And I had hope when he's having these little backstage things, always trying to get opportunities. He's having the little backstage promos and stuff. I'm like, yes, like he's a good promo. This man is a beast. Like, just give him. But it's like, I get, and this is the problem. It's like when you have all these storylines held up, you can't just shove people or catapult them like LA Knight. You can't be like, all right, go.
That was true. That was true when the Bloodline had all the gold. That was true when the Bloodline had all the gold.
Now you got Judgment Day that has all the gold.
That's fine. But he's on Raw. It's like you can have him challenge for the NXT championship, the NXT North American title to battle.
Why would he go after that?
So what? He ain't doing nothing else. Dom can just piss him off and be like, you're an old man, and he can be like, yo, your dad should have kicked your ass, and then that can start a match or whatever the case may be. But just in general, he can be a mid-card worker. He can be in that mid-card. He can be a guy that can be inserted into that intercontinental title picture.
No,
and they just
I thought that's for sure. The North American, I feel like that's just specifically for NXT.
I thought that's what they were doing with Bronson Reed, Tommaso Ciampa, Gable. I thought all these guys were going to be in the mix going after Gunther, and it's like they kind of just tossed that all away. And it's like, and of course we want Chad Gable to get that opportunity, right? Well, I'm not saying that he's been doing great work, but I'm just saying you can integrate some of the people into the picture at least. Tommaso Ciampa could be one of those guys until we get the reformation of DIY, hopefully, whatever it is, combination they want to do. But
my thing with the reuniting of DIY, I just don't know if they're gonna get that same reaction that they did in NXT, because I feel like it's been a very long time. Obviously, not everybody watched. I mean, obviously we did because we, DIY and the Revival and all those teams were the hottest freaking things going on back then. But it's been so long.
I did see a report that said Authors of Pain have signed. There were like rumors. That would be crazy if they're rebooting the tag team division with DIY and Authors of Pain. They need it. If that is out there somewhere, that needs to happen. That needs to happen.
Paul Ellering needs to be the manager again.
I think he is.
Okay. That needs to don't have him come out for their debut match and then do away with him. Don't have Drake Maverick come in because that was random as hell and it didn't fit. It needs to be Paul Ellering. Paul Ellering needs to be on TV again. All right. If we see Authors,
you didn't like Rockstar Spud leading the Authors of Pain?
No, it didn't fit. It was mad random. He was randomly the manager. Like, it didn't fit. Paul Ellering fit.
Man. Oh man!
Authors of Pain was definitely another group that I was like, these guys should be the most dominant tag team coming into this division.
I'm sorry. That they had DIY and they beat the hell out of him and they did the power and they hit their
backs to back.
That needs to be
obliterated them, and it was a ladder match, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a ladder match. Yeah, but it was just like And that's when Tomaso Ciampa started his heel run.
Turn on that night, yeah.
Which was one of the
Goldie
greatest
was the
runs.
best thing that ever happened to Tomaso Ciampa.
All right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right,
Just
but,
that run.
Getting back to Gunther himself, all right, and Chad Gable coming out and interrupting the celebration. Which one of us said that Chad Gable was going to be the one to end the Gunther's title reign? Because I know it was one of us.
I thought we all kind of agreed, didn't we?
I mean, because at this point, after that match last week and the match prior that ended in a count out, I mean, if it's not Chad Gable, then who else is it? I mean,
you don't have anybody else.
Like, you don't have anybody else. And the story with Gunther is actually good with Chad Gable being the underdog and such. So
I would like to see
Ziggler.
yes, resurgence.
I don't want to see Mr. Damaged Goods, man. I'm good on top.
No, I still believe. I don't know why. I don't know why.
We didn't went over this with him. How long? But 10 years ago when he won Cash the Money in the Bank. We done been through this. We done been through this since then. And every time it's the same. It's the same nonsense. We think they're gonna do it, then they don't. We think they're going in that direction. They take it from.
They did it with the NXT title.
And
they did it with the NXT title.
and they loses it on Raw.
Oh man, Ziggler was definitely one of those wrestlers that I was like, he just needs one chance, and it was always like, no.
With Gunther and Chad Gable, it's like it's in his destiny, right? Chad Gable, right? Like I'll say this: he's paid his dues. He has paid his dues. He has been a tag team. He's been lost in translation for a long time. He's reformed in a tag team. He's gotten that over, and it's like it's time. If it's for 2 months or whatever the case would be, fine. But give that man his moment. That man his moment.
I'm not gonna go so far. I think just the fact that he's an Olympian, I'm like, you could easily make this man like a modern day Kurt Angle if you just let him go. Just let him fucking go off. Like, I think once he wins this title, I don't know, maybe he has to break away from Otis for a bit or just keep him and, keep the momentum going. But I don't know what they're really doing with that group if he wins the title. But like, you can, we know he can go.
Keep it together as a group. But then,
no, I know. But I'm saying he's just as good on his own. Promos, he's decent, but skill wise, this dude can go. And I feel like, he's funny. He can. We
had Shelton Benjamin. It was one of the most athletic guys in the ring.
Yeah.
Been able to have title reigns. They can do that with him. They can do that. Like, those days are over, like, where it's like, oh, you got to be able to talk and stuff like that. That doesn't have to be the end all be all. Some guys just can't do it.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? But it doesn't have to be everything. But it's just like, give that man his due. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, give him that. Yeah. Give him that. That's what
he's earned that. Yeah.
I feel like there are definitely a lot of mid-card people right now that you could easily have, like we just said. You got Tommaso, you got Bronson Reed. Who else is on fucking Raw? I mean, you got Sheamus. You got a bunch of people that I feel like Sheamus at some point should definitely get that damn IC title. I don't know why they dangled it in front of him, and then they're like, "Yeah, you're not being Gunther."
Another trade. Another trade is gonna happen. We can get into Drew